Hi everyone. Today we're going to talk about The Gift of the Magi by O. Henry. So what we want to look at in this particular reading, we're going to look at the themes of sacrifice and love. But before we kind of get started with that, we're going to look at a couple of other important parts leading up to these themes and some ideas of where we can see them develop throughout this particular story. So first, when you read anything at all, you want to look at the title. When we think about this title, we want to think about the Magi, right? So these were these wise men, and they delivered these gifts in the biblical tale, so that newborn baby Jesus, right? So they brought these gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. So you want to think about this whole idea, first of all, of when someone is giving someone a gift, is giving some type of an offering, think about that relationship there. Someone enjoys spending time with that person, or they look up to that person, or they even love that particular person. So think about these ideas of giving something to someone else that you admire as we kind of work into these themes of sacrifice and the idea of love. So you want to think about, too, what do you think will happen in this particular story? So this is a good pre-reading tip. Before you even start reading, look at the title, think about what might happen, jot down some ideas what you think is going to happen. So you can use clues in the title. That's one way of thinking that, oh, maybe there's going to be some gift giving happening in this particular piece. You want to think about this other idea of admiration or love, especially in the story of the Magi who are giving these gifts. You could think about this idea of giving gifts to show your appreciation, show your adoration, show your love, and starting to think ahead about what might happen in the story is going to be really helpful to jot down some notes, especially as you guys kind of get started. When you are reading through the story, you can head back to those notes or those questions and say, oh, I thought this was going to happen. Here's where it actually happened in the story, and make those notes. So before we even start thinking about this idea of sacrifice in the story, it's always helpful to start with a definition. So if we think about if we sacrifice something, we give something up, right? Or we go without something, either one is going to work as a definition of sacrifice. We can also think about giving something up for someone else as an idea of sacrifice at all. So I want you guys to think about, too, now that we have this definition about giving up or going without something, want you to think about these real life examples of sacrifice. So if a parent buys their children sneakers, right? And the child says, I really, really want these sneakers so badly. Maybe the parent doesn't have something that they need or want. If they need a new outfit, or if they need something for their car. So you can start to think about this little give and take with sacrifice. So you'll give one thing up to kind of help someone else out. And I want you guys to think about this in your own life, and think about, too, giving something up and going without in your own life, if you've done this before, or if you've sacrificed something for someone else before. So this is going to help you also understand how it works in the story as you start to make these connections into your real life. So if we define love and put that dictionary definition here from Merriam-Webster, so a strong affection for another. So as you guys start to think about this, we can think about there's many different types of love out there, and a couple of examples here that can show love if two people support one another through tough times. So if these are friends, if these are if it is someone in a marriage, if there is another example, a couple of children who know they can always count on one another. So the love doesn't always have to be romantic. In this case, we can look at it in a couple of different ways in the story, but think again about this idea of love and how you define love, and these examples, especially from your own lives, about love, who you love, what you love, and kind of how that works for you. So making these connections is a wonderful, wonderful way to kind of get started with any story, so you guys can start to think about why it's important in that particular story, and you can make that connection which helps you remember it also. So if we start to think about this idea of sacrifice, since you guys already read this story, you want to start off that important part, the dollar amount that she has in the day before Christmas. So we think about the day before a holiday like Christmas or another large holiday that really revolves around giving to others, and having this amount of money makes us start to set the scene to say, all right, what has she been doing? She doesn't have this money. She's very upset about this. She has been working really hard, and this is all she was able to save for the present for her husband. As she starts to think about this, she's tried really hard. She's sacrificed her time to work hard. So you can think about that sacrifice, giving things up or going without. So going without that extra time because she's worked so much to try and make enough money to buy a wonderful present for her husband. You want to think about, as we kind of move forward into this through the story, and we start to see this idea of we see an image of her hair and how beautiful and long it is, and it's wonderful. And you want to start thinking about the people that also enjoy her hair. So her husband enjoys her hair. Everybody does, talks about how wonderful, beautiful, and long it is. That point in the story when she starts to cut her hair. This is something that she loves, other people's love. So you could think about this idea of going without or giving something up as sacrifice when she cuts off her hair to sell it. And that's going to help her get the money she needs to get out there and give a present and find the best present for her husband. I want you to also think about James is also working these long hours. So he really wants to make enough money so he can get a wonderful gift for her as well. So they both take the time, not only sacrifice time, that spare time that they have, but probably sacrificing time from one another to work hard to make sure that they can buy something beautiful and wonderful for the other for Christmas. So as you guys think about the idea of sacrifice and giving those things up and being able to buy a present and finding something for the person you love, and every way that love works, I want you to think about that Della really starts off, right, when she shows her love for her husband, and she's trying to count her money, and she's saying, oh my goodness, I really have to get some more money. I have to get him something wonderful. So you can start to think about that she's really trying her best, putting her best foot forward to get out there and really help earn some money so she can buy him something wonderful because she wants to make him happy, right, for that Christmas gift. You also want to think about the sacrificing their time, and her hair, but you want to think about how this relates to love. So since they love one another, they are willing to give up or go without. We think about that definition of sacrifice and with something to really make the other person happy. So that main idea here is looking at both of them, thinking about what they're giving up, what they're going without to make the other person happy. As you start to think about this, I want you to think about, in this particular story, I want you to think about what the relationship is, right, between love and sacrifice. So we can start to think about it. We can think about this, giving something up for someone that we love, but we also end up in the story at the end, we see that they each buy something for one another, that they've already given up something else, and it's not something they can exactly use, with between the hair and the hair combs and the watch that he ends up selling, and the little piece that goes onto the watch to hold onto that little watch. So I want you guys to think about that. So giving up something for someone that you love, but it's worth it. Even if the hair combs don't work right now because her hair is short, she can start to see the importance of kind of getting out there and doing something for someone else and giving something up or going without. So I want you to think about, too, what are some examples of something that you or someone you know has sacrificed? So did you give up, going to grab something to drink at a Starbucks or Dunkin' every single day to save some money? Or did someone sacrifice something for you to either go to school or take lessons or anything along those lines? So starting to look at these real life examples is a great way to see how sacrifice and love kind of are intertwined and work together. And I want you to think about this idea of love. So what is someone or something that you love? So why do you love it or that particular person? Think about the why behind this. And you can start to think about, too, if you would actually sacrifice something important for that person or for that particular thing. So as you guys start to think about these stories, the important part here is that you are going in and you are making these real life connections so you can not only understand the content and also retain it as you guys continue to work through your lessons.